Meanwhile, Raj is bunking off buying antiques. He's in the town of Thetford. He's come to hear a tale of royalty, riches and intrigue, about a princess who risked all to save the lives of strangers. But this incredible story starts with her father, the last king of the Punjab, Maharajah Duleep Singh. Local historian Peter Bance has researched the family.
Hello, Peter.
Hi, right, I see you found the statue.
How did such a magnificent statue end up here?
Well, the Maharajah is greatly associated with Thetford. After being deposed from the seat at Lahore in the Punjab, effectively he was exiled to England.
Duleep Singh was just a young lad. He'd sat on the throne of the Sikh kingdom when the Anglo-Sikh Wars took place and the Punjab was annexed to British India. With his kingdom taken, he was imprisoned and then exiled to Britain.
He was invited to the court of Queen Victoria, and he became a favourite of the Queen and invited to every royal function, every wedding, every event of the day.
Young Duleep Singh lived the life of an English aristocrat. Not only befriending Queen Victoria and Prince Albert, he invited high society to extravagant shooting parties on his 17,000-acre estate near Thetford.
Got married?
That's right, he married a half German, half Abyssinian lady called Bamba, and they had 6 children, 3 sons and 3 daughters, and many of the children had their own legacies.
But the story of his second daughter, Princess Catherine, is an extraordinary one.
So this is the exhibition room, which has been dedicated to Princess Catherine.
The goddaughter of Queen Victoria, she was introduced to high society at a debutante ball at Buckingham Palace.
Had she met Queen Victoria before this?
Oh, countless times. They would have been brought up with the royal household. Her siblings had been baptised at Windsor, and they would have made numerous trips to the palace throughout their life.
But Princess Catherine had the courage to live her own life and didn't want to be part of the aristocracy. She attended Oxford University in 1890.
And here we can see Princess Catherine with her fellow students at Somerville Hall, which was a ladies' college at Oxford University. She's surrounded by pioneering women who went on to become social reformers, educational reformers, and women that were involved in the suffrage movement.
Princess Catherine also became an active member of the women's rights movement.
Well, she was a suffragist, not a suffragette, so rather than being from the sort of fanatical wing, she was more active in raising funds for the movement, campaigning, going to hold bazaars, creating an awareness about women's rights and the right for women to vote. And she was a forerunner in this campaign and led from the start.
In 1928, all British women over the age of 21 were granted the right to vote. But by this time, Princess Catherine was living in Germany.
Well, she had a German governess, Lena Schaefer. Like many aristocratic children of the time, they took in German governesses who not only became her teacher, her guardian, but also her lover, we could say. They had a very intimate relationship.
Really?
They lived openly as a couple. Catherine, a South Asian young woman with a devout belief in feminism, was unafraid to reveal her sexuality. But the start of the 20th century was a tumultuous time. In the 1930s, the Third Reich became a regime in which Germans enjoyed no guaranteed basic rights. Minorities were targeted.
Her friends and her colleagues told her to leave. It'd be safer for her because she was of Asian origin, but also her sexuality. But she refused to leave. It's only after Lena died in 1937 she actually thought, well, maybe now I should be thinking about coming back to England.
But before fleeing Germany, she helped several Jewish families escape the Holocaust. Some accounts refer to Catherine as the Indian Schindler, after the German industrialist who saved over 1,000 Jews. Although Catherine's work was never on this scale, it was no less courageous.
She did some amazing acts of kindness on peoples of other faiths, which had no bearing to her life or her origins.
And they were?
They were people from the Jewish religion who were being detained at various camps. These Jewish families needed someone to save them as refugees and get them out of Germany ASAP.
When Catherine died, she requested her ashes to be divided, with some returning to Thetford. Today, the memory of the South Asian princess will forever be remembered as a pioneer of the LGBTQ community and as a saviour of Jews fleeing Nazi Germany. extraordinary story.